What are fair labor standards? Fair labor standards are government regulations that aim to prevent certain types of exploitation in relationships between employers and employees. Issues that may be addressed include wages, discrimination, and child labor. These regulations may be set at various levels of government, and when they are, there are often specific agencies appointed with the responsibility of administering and enforcing them. In the United States, for example, at the federal level, these rules are bundled into the Fair Labor Standards Act, FLSA, and are overseen by the U.S. Department of Labor, DOL. The U.S. is a prime example of a jurisdiction where fair labor standards are created at various levels of government. The FLSA is commonly considered the minimum set of standards. This means that if and when state governments enact their own regulations, they may be stricter than those overseen by the DOL. It is not generally an option, however, for states or employers within a state to authorize actions that do not at least meet the federal standards. Fair labor standards are enacted mainly to protect the employees in a working relationship. The existence of these laws can also be very beneficial for employers, however. By following guidelines outlined by government authorities, employers can substantially reduce the likelihood of finding themselves as parties in lawsuits and the object of protests. Although there may be numerous regulations, these are normally enacted with specific goals in mind. For example, all fair labor standards that involve wages tend to exist to ensure that workers are fairly paid. For salaries and wages to be considered fair, issues such as the amounts paid, the promptness of payment, and deductions that may be made from earned income may need to be considered. Fair labor standards are also commonly put into place to protect certain vulnerable groups. For example, the manner in which child labor is used is an issue that is commonly addressed by these regulations. Fair labor regulations may be subject to change. When wages are addressed by this type of legislation, for example, the standards may need to be revisited as the cost of living rises to ensure continuing fairness. It is also important to note that in many instances there are exemptions that apply to certain regulations. Violations of fair labor standards are most commonly civil. They may be addressed with fines, damages to victims, and injunctions. There are some instances, however, when violations may be so gross that they are deemed criminal.